Hi guys, coming to you live from Kellen's chicken coop. Right, Kellen? Yeah. Shh. The next chapter is called The Egg Sac. Here's a picture of Charlotte with her egg sac. Next morning, when the first light came into the sky and the sparrows stirred in the trees, when the cows rattled their chains and the roosters crowed and the early automobiles went whispering along the road, Wilbur awoke and looked for Charlotte. He saw her up overhead in a corner near the back of his pen. She was very quiet. Her 8 legs were spread wide, and she seemed to have shrunk during the night. Next to her, attached to the ceiling, Wilbur saw a curious object. It was sort of a sack or a cocoon. It was peach-colored and looked as though it was made of cotton candy. "Are you awake, Charlotte?" he said softly. "Yes," came an answer. "What is that nifty little thing? Did you make it?" "I did indeed," replied Charlotte in a weak voice. "Is it a plaything?" "A plaything? I should say not. It is my egg sac, my magnum opus." "I don't know what a magnum opus is," said Wilbur. "That's Latin," explained Charlotte. "It means great work. This egg sac is my great work, the finest thing I've ever made." "What's inside it?" asked Wilbur. "Eggs? 514 of them," she replied. 514, replied Wilbur. "You're kidding." "No, I'm not. I counted them. I got started counting, so I just kept on going, just to keep my mind occupied." "It's perfectly beautiful egg sac," said Wilbur, feeling as happy as though he had constructed it himself. "Yes, it is pretty," replied Charlotte, patting the egg sac with her 2 front legs. "Anyway, I can guarantee that it is strong. It is made of the toughest material I have. It's also waterproof. The eggs are inside and will be warm and dry." "Charlotte," said Wilbur dreamily, "are you really going to have 514 children?" "If nothing happens, yes," she said. "Of course, they won't show up till next spring." Wilbur noticed that Charlotte's voice sounded sad. "What makes you sound so downhearted? I should think you'd be terribly happy about this." "Oh, don't pay attention to me," said Charlotte. "I just don't have much pep anymore. I guess I feel sad because I won't see my children." "What do you mean you won't see your children?" "Of course you will. We all will see them. It's going to simply be wonderful next spring in the barn cellar with 514 baby spiders running around all over the place. And the geese will have a new set of goslings, and the sheep and the lambs." "Maybe," said Charlotte quietly. "However, I have a feeling that I'm not going to see the results of last night's effort. I don't feel good at all. I think I'm languishing, to tell you the truth." Wilbur didn't understand the word languish, and he hated to bother Charlotte by asking her to explain. But he was so worried he felt he had to ask. "What does languishing mean?" "It means I'm slowing up, feeling my age. I'm not young anymore, Wilbur, but I don't want you to worry about that. This is your big day. Look at my web. Doesn't it show up so well with the dew on it?" Charlotte's web had never looked more beautiful than it looked this morning. Each strand held dozens of bright droplets of early morning dew. The light from the east struck it and made it all plain and clear. It was as perfect as a piece of designing a building. In another hour or two, a steady stream of people would pass by, admiring it and reading it and looking at Wilbur and marveling at the miracle. As Wilbur was studying the web, a pair of whiskers and a sharp face appeared slowly. Templeton dragged himself across the pen and threw himself down in the corner. "I'm back," he said in a husky voice. "What a night." The rat was swollen to twice its normal size, and his stomach was as big as a round jelly jar. Templeton ate a lot of food. "What a night," he repeated hoarsely. "What feasting and carousing. A real gorge. I must have eaten the remains of 30 lunches. Never have I seen such leavings, and everything well ripened and seasoned with the passage of time and the heat of the day. Oh, it was rich, my friends, rich." "You ought to be ashamed of yourself," said Charlotte in disgust. "It would serve you right if you had an acute attack of indigestion." "Don't worry about my stomach," snarled Templeton. "I can handle anything. And by the way, I've got some bad news. As I came to the pig next door, the one that calls himself Uncle, I noticed that a blue tag was on the front of his pen. That means he won first prize. I guess you're licked, Wilbur. You might as well relax. Nobody's going to hang a medal on you. Furthermore, I wouldn't be surprised if Zuckerman changes his mind about you. Wait till he gets a hankering for some fresh pork and smoked ham or crisp bacon. He'll take a knife to you, my boy." "Be still, Templeton," said Charlotte. "You're too stuffed and bloated to know what you're saying. Don't pay attention to him, Wilbur." Wilbur tried not to think about what the rat had just said. He decided to change the subject. "Templeton," said Wilbur, "if you weren't so dopey, you would have noticed that Charlotte had made an egg sac. She is going to be a mother. For your information, there are 514 eggs in this peachy little sac." "Is that true?" asked the rat, eyeing the sac suspiciously. "Yes, it's true," sighed Charlotte. "Congratulations," murmured Templeton. This has been a night." He closed his eyes and pulled some straw over himself and dropped off into a deep sleep. Wilbur and Charlotte were glad to be rid of him for a while. All right, we're going to stop there. And on Monday, we'll finish the chapter, The Egg Sac. Only 3 chapters left. See you on Monday.